Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos, make sure you stay in one piece.
Thanksgiving used to be one of my favorite holidays. Matter of fact, it wasn't one of my favorite holidays. It was my favorite holiday out of any holidays. I enjoyed it because I was thankful for friends and family, loved the food, loved to spend time with my family, watching football with my male relatives, and just being thankful for things that I have that others didn't. Also, I love spending Thanksgiving volunteering as well. That's something that I enjoy doing. But Thanksgiving and my love for it all crashed it after a very horrifying and tragic event that happened that to this day, even the thought of whenever Thanksgiving comes around, I really get depressed and I just don't want to celebrate it. I don't even want to think about the food, turkey, and none of that stuff. I don't even want to see a turkey. That's how bad things was. This happened on the week of Thanksgiving. I was 18 at the time. I was coming home from college because the campus was closed down for a week so everyone could enjoy Thanksgiving with their friends or family. I came home to my mom and dad, my sisters, and they were getting everything prepared for Thanksgiving the next day. Fast forward to Thanksgiving, my father was outside barbecuing the turkey or roasting it. I was out there helping him. A lot of our family members and extended family members came in too to celebrate Thanksgiving with us. We usually like to have a big get together. I even invited some of my friends and some of their family came along as well. Everything was really going well. The food was cooking. We were listening to music. We were just really in the moment. But that all changed and the atmosphere changed when an unwelcome family member came. It was my uncle, Joe. He was on my father's side of the family, my father's brother, and they never had a really good relationship at all. Matter of fact, their relationship was toxic. From what he told me, my Uncle Joe used to spend his adult life going in and out of jail for a whole bunch of stuff. But there was one he went to jail for, which was recently, and matter of fact, he gotten out about 3 weeks ago, and that was for murder. I really don't know too much details about that, but apparently he was let off early for good behavior. When Uncle Joe walked into the party, a whole lot of people stared at him. A lot of people felt uncomfortable as well. There was even a few family members who left because they didn't want to see Joe or even party with him. I should also mention that Joe is an alcoholic, so whenever he drinks, he can get pretty violent. Now, of course, people were wondering how Joe was able to come to this party. Was he invited? That's when we discovered that my father was the one that invited him. But he didn't invite him without giving him some stern rules to follow. From my understanding, Joe understood the rules and he followed. So even though there were a few people that were leaving, Joe seemed like he was on his best behavior. That was until it was time to serve the Thanksgiving food. We didn't notice, but Uncle Joe managed to sneak him in some alcohol, and he got pretty wasted real fast. As the music kept on blaring, and as our family was getting dinner together, my uncle started yelling at some of the kids, and he also began to yell at some of our family members because he was wasted. Let me tell you something. I don't get why my brother gets to have a decent house and get all the family members to come and celebrate Thanksgiving when I don't get jack shit. I hate this fucking party. Listen, Joe, you're gonna have to leave. You're causing a scene. You're scaring all the kids. You're gonna have to get out of here. You're way too wasted and you're way too drunk to be at this party. We can't allow this. Go home, please. Go now. What? Huh? Now you're embarrassed of your big brother now, huh? You're embarrassed of me now? Huh? You're ashamed of me now? Oh, fuck you. I get out of here. I don't want to be around all you fucking losers. I hate all of you. None of you are my fucking family. After that, Uncle Joe was tipsy while leaving the party. He was really drunk. And as I saw him walking off, He turned around and stuck up both of his middle fingers at us and walked off. Some of the kids were crying and some of them were scared, which I couldn't blame them. I was kind of nervous as well. I was more concerned about the fact, what if he comes back in a rage and does something stupid? That's what I thought. I asked my father, "Dad, I'm a little bit concerned though. What if he comes back out of anger and tries something?" "Don't worry, son. He's long gone by now. He ain't gonna do anything. Let's forget about him and enjoy our Thanksgiving, okay?" My father reassured me. But, unfortunately, when we sat down and started eating our turkey and enjoying each other's company with friends and family, something really tragic happened. Something that none of us would have thought. As we were eating, there was a package that just flew out of nowhere and landed on our picnic table where we were eating our Thanksgiving feast. And then, without even thinking, the package blew up. Immediately, everyone screamed and hollered. There was mayhem everywhere. I tried to get up, but I didn't even realize that I was really injured myself. The last thing I remember before blacking out was seeing my parents laying next to me lifeless. Even as I was blacking out, I already knew they were most likely deceased. When I woke up, it was 3 weeks later since that incident happened. I remember waking up with so much pain. I looked around and I looked at myself, and I could tell I was wrapped up with a body bandage all over my body. One of the doctors came in and they told me that 67% of my body was burnt up. I can feel a slight burning pain over my body. I'm assuming the pain was much greater, but they probably gave me a lot of pain medication to help with the pain. I asked one of the doctors about what happened to my family. He looked it down for a minute, almost like he was gonna cry, but he didn't say anything. A few minutes later, an officer came in, and what this officer told me would forever change my world forever. The officer told me that no one in that explosion except me survived, meaning that not only did my parents die, but my siblings and everyone at that reunion at Thanksgiving died. I began to cry in pain. I knew I had to deal with the fact that I lost my parents, but the fact that I lost my siblings as well, it hurted me because they were no older than 8 years old. One was 8 and one was 5. They were gone before their life even began. It was heartbreaking. I was hurting, and then my hurting turned into anger, and I wanted to know who it was that done this. But before I can ask the officer, they said that there was an arrest made. They showed me the picture of the suspect. They said that they caught him running with more explosive devices around him, and he had a drone, which explains how that package that contained the bomb dropped on the Thanksgiving table. When I looked at the picture, I was angry because it was my Uncle Joe. He was the one that done this. He's the one that killed not only my entire immediate family member, but everyone at that party. A few days later, I was wheelchaired into court to watch my uncle get sentenced to jail, and I was satisfied to what they gave him. He had multiple life sentences, meaning that he would never get out. Even though they were actually going for the death penalty, but they gave him multiple life sentences instead. I looked at him. He turned around, looked at me, and he gave me this vomit-inducing smile that made me want to throw up and made me want to leap out of that wheelchair and strangle him. How could someone be that evil and that cruel? After my Uncle Joe was sentenced, I never saw him again. And to be honest with you, I really hope he dies in jail. I don't think I ever recover fully from this. And like I said before, each time Thanksgiving comes around, it just brings back that horrible, horrible day. This is a trauma that I'm never going to fully recover from. Being a nice person or a kind-hearted person is good, but at the same time, it could be bad. There are people out there who would take advantage of a person who is kind-hearted, use them and manipulate them. I was one of those people that got manipulated, and I almost lost my life. This happened 10 years ago. It was 2014. I was living in New York in an apartment complex. I was there because I was going to school to study to become a lawyer. I didn't have friends or family to celebrate Thanksgiving, so I thought that day I was just going to order pizza and just watch movies all day. That was until I got a knock at my door. This happened on the morning of Thanksgiving. I was getting up, drinking me some coffee while scrolling on my phone when the knocking happened. I put my phone down and walked it towards the front door and looking through the peephole, and I noticed there was a woman. She had frostbites all over her. I wasn't going to open the door. I was just going to talk to her through the door, but when I noticed a small little girl with her, I was assuming that it was her daughter. The minute I saw this, I opened the door and I asked him, "Yes, ma'am, how can I help you?" "Hello, sir, I'm so sorry to bother you. Look, is there some way we can come in here and stay for at least a day? I know it's so sudden, but you gotta understand, I got kicked out of my apartment because I lost my job 2 weeks ago and I don't have the money to pay rent and they kicked me out. And my little girl, I don't want her to get sick. It's just until the snowstorm passes, until we can figure out what we're gonna do next. Please, please. I'm taking a very huge risk by doing this. I usually don't like knocking on strangers' doors." When the woman told me this, my heart shattered into millions of pieces. I never like to hear anyone being homeless on the holidays, especially along with a kid. That's really heartbreaking. I felt so bad for them, and against my better judgment, I let the woman and her daughter in, not knowing that my life was gonna be in danger very soon. "Oh my God, well yeah, sure, come in, get out of the storm. I'll make you guys some hot chocolate. And after I get done with that, if you want, you can come in my car and we can go to the store real quick. I can buy some last minute stuff and prepare a small Thanksgiving meal for all three of us." Now, I know what you guys are thinking. I don't really know these people. Why was I so willing to help them out? And once again, like I said, I'm a person that has a big heart. I'm a kind-hearted person who tries to help everyone who's in need. We went to the grocery store and we picked out a few things. The little girl was happy that she gets to celebrate Thanksgiving, and her mom was happy as well. Once we got back to my place, I began to set up everything. It did caught me by surprise because I wasn't looking to make any Thanksgiving meals, but since they're over, I decided to make a small Thanksgiving meal. The woman helped me cook, and the little girl was in the living room watching cartoons. At around 5 o'clock, the meal was ready. Once the meal was ready, we got everything set up at the table and we got the food together and everything was ready for us to start eating. Like I said, I know a lot of people are thinking, how could I just be comfortable letting strangers into my house? But regardless, this woman was kicked out of her house and she had nowhere to go to, and she had a daughter, so I had a soft spot for situations like this. We were talking and having a good time when I noticed the woman kept on looking at me and looking at my drink. Before I can even respond to her, I suddenly felt like I was going to black out. When I got up, I immediately fell over and I blacked out. When I came to, I was in the hospital. I remember someone telling me, which I believe it was the doctor or it may have been a cop, that I was found by a neighbor. Apparently my door was open and I was passed out on the floor, and my apartment was empty, like someone just stolen everything. I was ransacked, and I knew the woman had something to do with it. And what threw me off was she used her daughter to make me lower my guard, but I already knew it had to have been her. So when I told the officers about my theory, they looked for the woman, and what I learned about her was really disturbing. The little girl that she had with her was not her daughter. Instead, she was a kidnapped victim. The woman kidnapped her from her parents, and the woman threatened the little girl that if she says anything, that she was going to kill her. Not only that, she used my house as a place to try to get some money, like stealing my precious valuable possessions like TVs and laptops and video games and stuff, including some stack of cash that I had saved up under my bed. What I think could have happened was she probably poisoned my drink, which caused me to fall out, and that gave her plenty of time to go around my place and take everything that she needed. After that, she left me there to die, but luckily, like the officer said, my neighbor saw me and she called 911. I'm alive today because of her. I was trying to be a nice person, but I guess sometimes you gotta be careful about who you're nice to, because there are people out there that will take advantage of kind-hearted people and manipulate them and use them. I will never in my life shop on Black Friday, all because I got my son a PlayStation 5 and a random person couldn't handle it, that it was the last one, and I nearly lost my life over a PlayStation 5. This happened when PlayStation 5s were first introduced and they were really expensive, but on Black Friday there was some that was on sale 50% off. It was at my local electronics store. My son's been wanting that for a while, and he's about 11 years old. He's been doing real good with his grades, so I figured since he's been doing good, I'd give him this as a Christmas present. So I drove up to the electronics store, and I went in there, and boy was I lucky. There was only one PlayStation left. I grabbed it, and as I was making my way to the cashier, I heard someone yell out to me.
"Hey, what are you doing? I saw that PlayStation 5 first. I want to get it for my son. Let go of it right now."
That voice nearly almost caused me to drop the Xbox I had in my hand. I turned around and I saw a large man. He had on blue jeans and a muscle t-shirt. He had tattoos all over his arms, and he had a tattoo that was around his eye. I ignored him because I already grabbed it, and I made my way up to the cashier and I paid for it. As I was walking out, I saw that man followed me. He followed me all the way up to the exit of the store, and he blocked the exit and he told me,
"Hey, dumbass, did you not listen to what I was telling you? I said that I saw that first. I wanted to buy that for my son. Hand it over right now."
"I'm not giving you shit. Now get the fuck out my way and let me go," I sternly told him. I made my way past him and I walked it towards my car. I put the PS5 in the back and I got in my car and I started driving. A couple of minutes later, as I was trying to make my way home, because I don't live too far from the electronics store, I live about 10 minutes away, but halfway through the trip, my car started to act a little funny. It was riding like it was bumpy. It made me believe that I had a flat tire, which was strange because I had my tires changed earlier that day. And behold, my car warned me of a flat tire. So I pulled up on the side. It was in the middle of nowhere, a bunch of trees and woods. I really didn't feel comfortable. The air around me was cold and damp and heavy. It felt like the air was trying to smother me alive. As I got out, I noticed something that horrified me. This was not a natural flat tire. No, there was 3 nails inside the tire, meaning that someone purposely tried to flatten my tire. But I don't know who it was. Just then, I heard someone say something to me.
"You should have handed over that PlayStation 5 when you had the opportunity. Now it looks like I'm gonna have to take it from you now."
I knew it was the guy from Best Buy earlier. I can't believe that he followed me all the way over here just for a PlayStation 5. When I turned around and I was about to say something to him, I noticed that he had 4 other guys with him. They ran up to me and they began to beat me up really bad. I could feel the punches and kicks directly hitting my stomach. I blocked my face to try to protect that so no one wouldn't give me no face injury. But That did no good. One of them managed to move my hand and hit my face. They began to go at my face for what felt like forever. I can feel my face bleeding. I can feel myself going in and out of consciousness. Eventually, I had enough and I said, "Damn it, just go ahead and take the PS5. Just please let me live. Just go ahead and take it. Please, just take it."
Okay guys, that's enough. He said the magic word. I'm gonna grab the PlayStation 5 and we'll be out of here. It's sad, buddy. That's all I wanted was the PlayStation 5. You put yourself through this.
After the man grabbed the PlayStation 5, he left with a group of his friends. I was laying on the street, beaten up, barely could move. I felt like every bone in my body was broken. All of this over a dumb PlayStation 5. It was ridiculous. I couldn't go anywhere because my tires were slashed. I called 911 and I was able to get some help. The police investigated the situation and I told them about the guys that attacked me and about the guy who got upset because I took the last PlayStation 5. They never found the men who done this to me and I was able to get my car fixed. But after dealing with that traumatic experience, I don't think I ever go shopping on Black Friday again. Instead, I'd rather just shop on Cyber Monday. At least I know it's much more safer and I don't have to worry about getting beat up because I bought the last item or something. It's just really hard for me to believe that a grown man got that hot-headed over a PlayStation 5. I hate working in retail, especially on Black Friday. But this particular day really made me dread working there. And that's the reason why I never worked at retail ever again, especially on Black Friday. This happened back in 2013. I was 18 at the time. I had been working in Target for about 6 months. And I told my manager I wanted to have Thursday and Friday off since it was Thanksgiving and Black Friday, but unfortunately my manager did not really understand and made me work on those days. I was hoping at least he'll give me Friday off, but he never did. And I hated working on Black Friday because I worked at a previous retail store before, and working on Black Fridays is a real hassle. You have to deal with rude customers, people being impatient, plus Karens. It's all sorts of problems. But on this particular day in 2013, something really happened that made me not ever want to work at retail again. It happened on that day. I was getting everything set up. I was stocking, trying to hang up a sign about 50% off sales when it comes to our kitchenwares and stuff like that. When the manager opened the store, there was already a long line. I have social anxiety and I get claustrophobic around a whole bunch of people, so it did make me a little nervous being around all those people. I continued to do my job, and that's when it happened. There was a strange woman that came up to me. "Excuse me, sir, I was told that you had iPads on sale, and I was wondering if I can get my hand on one." I told her, "I apologize, ma'am, we sold out within like the first 30 minutes when we opened up our store. And we're not looking to get another batch until probably Monday or something. I apologize and I'm sorry for your inconvenience, but..." "Oh, that's bullshit. I was just on the phone with someone yesterday and they told me I was gonna get my hands on an iPad for sale. And now you're telling me you don't got them? I'm gonna make you sorry. You retail workers aren't shit. Y'all can't even do your jobs right. It's just younger generation. They don't know how to work." I chuckled to myself. I find it always amusing whenever someone comes in and get upset at an associate because something sold out and it's beyond our control. But I wish I could have took her warning more serious when she said that I was going to be sorry. I would have never guessed what would have happened next. And now, because of that, I can't never step foot at another retail store again. As it got later into the Black Friday sale in Target, I went on my lunch. We had a Pizza Hut inside of our Target place, so that's where I went and I ordered me a small box of pizza. As I was sitting there eating my lunch and drinking my soda and watching something on my phone, that's when a wave of nausea started to wash all over me. I don't know how to explain it. It just came on all of a sudden. I felt so nauseous, I knew I was about to throw up. Luckily, there was a bathroom that wasn't that far from where I was sitting at. I ran quickly in the bathroom and I threw up. I was in there for about 15 minutes, just constantly throwing up. After I got out of the bathroom, I started to feel real dizzy. I didn't know what was going on. I only took about 3 bites of my pizza, and now all of a sudden I feel violently ill. I didn't know what was happening to me, and I felt like I was going to black out. I had to let my manager know that I wasn't feeling well, and so he told me to go home early and try to get some rest. When I came home, I thought maybe it was just a 24-hour bug stomach, but for the next couple of days, my stomach just kept hurting and I felt nauseous, and I kept on throwing up and kept on having diarrhea. It kept on going on for about a week. I had to call off of my job. I knew it was going to be a matter of time before I couldn't afford to take a day off. So that's when I told my mother to drive me to the hospital to see what was going on. The doctors did a bunch of tests, but they couldn't find anything. All of my tests came back normal and all my vitals were normal. But I knew there was something wrong. That's when I thought about something. I asked the doctor to check for this common poison that maybe they couldn't see because they have to do a specific test for it. And after they did that test, it was confirmed that that's what was in me. I had antifreeze poisoning inside of me. Someone must have poisoned me with antifreeze, and that's why I was throwing up and getting sick. After the doctors took care of it, it took me a couple of days to get back to being normal, but once I did, I was able to come back to work. But when I came back to work, I talked to my manager about what happened, and I told him that it had to happen when I was working at Target. And I was thinking that probably when I was going to get my drink, someone must have been by my food and probably poured antifreeze in my pizza while I wasn't looking. The manager looked on a surveillance camera back on Black Friday when I went on my lunch break, and what I saw iced in my blood over. That woman who got mad at me because there wasn't no iPads for sale, she was by my food while I was getting my drink. I knew it was her. She may have had on some sunshades trying to disguise herself, but I knew that it was her. I saw as she poured some liquid into my pizza and she ran off fast before I turned around and saw that she was gone. I didn't even realize it. I started to bite into the food as I was eating it, and I was sitting there for about an hour, and that's when the wave of nausea started coming over me. And in the video, it shows me running into the bathroom. My manager filed a police report, and I also filed one as well, because that same day she was shoplifting. I don't know if she got mad at me because I wouldn't have no iPads for her, but then I should have known when she said that I was going to be sorry. I just didn't think that she was going to kill me. But what made the matters even worse was when they did arrest her and she learned that I was going to be back at work, she had plans on coming back into the store and shooting me and having me killed. I knew that that was the last straw. There was no way I was going to work in Target because I already have to deal with rude customers as it is, and this just sent me over the edge. After learning this, I quit my job at Target. I got a job as an Amazon delivery driver, which, to be honest with you, is a much better job for me. I'm just happy I quit, and I'm happy that I was able to get help right away, because had I not gotten the help that I need, I would have been dead. I'm also glad that the woman was caught, and right now as I'm talking, she's still in jail, and I hope she stays there.